Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, but today we have something special. So today I have the chance to check out Dehancer Film Emulation. It's basically a plugin that you can use inside of DaVinci Resolve, Premiere, or any other editing software to get you a nice film look. I just want to leave a little disclaimer: by no means am I a professional colorist. I may even be doing something wrong here, but I know that using Dehancer, it definitely helps you get a nice look without knowing too much. So it's very user-friendly, beginner-friendly, and we'll check it out. And if you would like to check it out, you can actually use my code right here. I'll leave it right at the bottom of the video, 10% off. Check it out. I honestly believe that it's a purchase that's well worth it. So today won't be a super technical video because I'm not a technical guy. I'm not a colorist by any means. I know how to do what I need to do to make the image look how I want it to look, and Dehancer definitely helps make things a lot easier. A lot of different ways that you can go about using Dehancer, as far as how many nodes you want to use when you're using DaVinci Resolve. You can use one node and only one node if you wanted to, but I'll show you the way that I do it. Again, I'm by no means a professional colorist, but let's go ahead and dive in. I already have a couple clips that's ready to go. All right, so here's the first clip. I'll kind of go ahead and explain the background of the clip, and as well as what I used to shoot it on. So with this clip right here, I shot it on my Sony a7S III. I believe I was using a 24-70 G Master lens for this video. So typically what I like to do when I get into color grading, I like to find a hero frame. The hero frame is basically just a still frame of whatever you think is the best looking shot within that clip, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I'm sorry, I'm not super technical. We're gonna do our best here. I'm also not the greatest teacher here. All right, so we're going to be opening up Dehancer inside of DaVinci. I'm going to be in the color tab, of course. We're color grading. There's a lot of different ways to go about color grading, obviously. I, again, am not a professional colorist, but I know just enough to make an image look nice. I think Dehancer definitely helps kind of take a lot of the figuring out of the equation. So you'll see here, I have my color tab open. On this specific clip, I only use 3 nodes. Sometimes I literally will only use 1 node for Dehancer. Other times I like to do things like lower the highlights or anything like that outside of the Dehancer node. So honestly, it really just depends on how lazy I'm being. But for this one, I went ahead and did 3 nodes. So first we're gonna, of course, start off with the Dehancer node, and we're gonna click here. It'll show up in your effects panel on the side here. Let's go to the top. You'll choose your camera. All my clips were shot on a Sony of some sort, and I always shoot an S-Log3. On the newer Sony cameras, at least, it's going to be S-Log3. This was shot on the Sony a7S III. S-Log3 is Camera 3 Cine, as you see right there. So you just choose camera. There, it'll show you have options, many options. You have ARRI, Blackmagic, Canon, Fuji. I mean, just about any camera that you can think of is going to be on, even Apple. I don't know, iPhones nowadays you can shoot and log, and so they even have options for iPhones now. It's going to be the film emulation that you want to use right here on this tab: film developer, compression, expand. I'll kind of show you everything that I use. I won't go too in depth with everything. Honestly, Dehancer it's a very simple plugin. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out Dehancer at all. So we're gonna go, usually what I use is the Kodak Vision 500T, but if you pull the drop down, you can see, I mean, you just have options from some Agfa. I've never heard of them before. Cinestill, Fuji, Kodak. You even have, where are they? You even have Ilford. So if you want to kind of get that black and white look, you can. But typically what I use, and you'll see this across all of my clips, this is going to be my go-to. That's going to be the Kodak Vision 3 500T. We have film compression. Again, I'm not going over every single tab. I'm just kind of going over things that I mainly use. But film compression is going to be basically it kind of compresses the film all together, and also helps with those highlights. Like it definitely does help. I will still use another tab or another node, I should say, to work on the highlights and kind of bring them down if you need to, because film compression, it brings it down some, but not too much. Then we have the print. So you have a couple of different options from the print. Since I'm using Kodak 500T, I'd go with the Kodak print, and that's going to be Kodak 2383. It's the one that I mainly use. Again, feel free to experiment and do whatever you want to. I'm just kind of showing you my workflow and what works for me on my clips. These are going to be kind of for the, as you can see, shadow tone, midtones, highlights. You go to the left, it'll cool it down. Go to the right, it'll warm it up. We have the film grain, usually 35 millimeters, 250. That's like okay for me. Kind of make the screen a little bit bigger here. You can kind of see it a little bit. It's not too harsh, and it's also not too much. Honestly, when this stuff goes on YouTube or Instagram, it makes it hard to even, the compression is just horrible. But usually it still is nice to look at. Sometimes if you're on the screen big enough, you can still see it pretty good. We have halation here. I like that they have this. Same thing with the halation. You can, I mean, the lower, I think it's the lower you go, yeah. So lower the number is how I'm not too in depth with all this, but the lower, then the stronger the halation is going to be, the higher it's not going to be as strong, basically. Typically keep it in at 35 millimeter range, super 35. You do this mask mode. If you do this mask mode right here, it'll show you what that's affecting. So if we go to 8, you'll see exactly what it's going to be affecting. If you go back to here, usually if you want a little bit stronger, you can do the no rim jet. If I split that correctly, I don't know. And that'll kind of strengthen it even more. Again, it's all about what you want your footage to look like and what you want the outcome to be. Bloom, that's kind of gives you that Tiffin look. I used to shoot everything with the Tiffin Pro Mist filter on, and I kind of got tired of it being baked into my footage. So I do like the fact that I can have this bloom here, and I don't have to worry about it being baked into my footage. So if I want it, I can put it. If I don't want it, I can leave it out. For this specific clip, I didn't really care for it. It looks okay, but it's whatever. And then we have film damage, which it's kind of hard to see. I can try to see if it'll show, but basically film damage, it kind of gives it that nice little film look. So like I said, I don't know terms, but you'll see it. It kind of shifts the color a little bit to where it looks like the film was a little damaged. It gives it a little bit more character. This is something that I just found out because I kind of stopped using Dehancer, and then once I got the chance to do this review, I started using it again. So it's nice to see this. They actually have the film scans now, the overscan. So they have a couple different options. They have, let's see, Super 38. I like that one a lot. So they have a couple different options now, and I do like that. Makes it a lot easier. You don't have to go and look for overlays anymore. You have it right in Dehancer itself. And then of course you have the vignette. And the vignette, I should probably start using it more. I don't use it as often as I can, but if you go this way, it's gonna kind of brighten the edges. The other way, darken the edges. Again, this clip, I kind of like the way this clips look without it. From there, after I'm done with the Dehancer node, I'll go and add some saturation. So the saturation is just to give it that nice color, because once it's in that film, once it's just Dehancer, sometimes it's just a little too desaturated for my liking, at least. So there's a couple different ways that you can do saturation. You can just do it straight from here, which is how I did it this time around. So here's another way to do it. Just right click on the clip, go to color space, choose HSV. Then you're gonna go into channels. You're gonna turn channel 1 off. and then turn channel 3 off. And then you can go here, use the either gain or offset. I don't think it really matters. And then you just kind of raise it. And then that'll also give it some saturation too. And as you can see, it literally doesn't look that much different than what it did the other way. I think either way works. This way, I do think it's just a little bit cleaner, nothing too crazy. And then I go into the exposure. So again, like I said, in Dehancer, you can go in and do the exposure as well. But I prefer to do it here. If I go into the HDR, tap these 3 dots here. You want to go ahead and tap on color space. Choose whatever color space your camera is. Gamma, same thing, S-Log3. And then the global channel is just kind of the overall image. I think this doesn't really, I don't think this one really needs an exposure to be adjusted. If you look over here on the waveform, it's pretty properly exposed. It's not too far off from where it should be. You do want the shadows to be, I try to keep the shadows in between this little line right here. So the line right above from the very bottom, try to keep the shadows right there. And then for the highlights, I try to keep those right in that range right up there. All right, and then we'll move over into our second clip here. So same thing. I mean, like I said, all these clips are gonna be basically the same thing. We're just gonna go through the process. Again, just so you can see the looks on different clips is all. So we'll start on the Dehancer tab. I keep saying tab, Dehancer node. Go ahead and activate that one so you can see my starting point. So this was actually shot on the Sony FX6. And then we shot this on S3 at 800 ISO. Then this one, I believe I shot this with a 7 Artisan 35mm cinema lens. So it's nice. You'll see it has a little bit more character than the photo 24-70 that I used on the other one. And like I said, same thing on literally all the clips. Kodak Vision 3 500T, film compression. We'll go ahead and turn that on. I may not have turned that on these clips. And then we got the Kodak 2383. Same thing. I didn't add any film grain yet. We'll go ahead and add that now. Bloom, and then I don't think I want to use anything else for that one. And then after Dehancer, I go straight to saturation, just to kind of give it some color. We'll go to exposure, go here to the HDR, same thing. We're gonna go ahead and add our color space and our gamma. And then this one, I want to bring these highlights down some. So how I usually do the highlights is I will kind of bring it down here, not too much. Sometimes you can just take it all the way until the image starts looking a little funky, like right when it starts looking funky, and then bring it back until the image starts looking good again. I think that's pretty good. You can also go ahead and tap on the wiggly lines and just bring it down just a little bit. I think that's good though. We're gonna go to the start of the clip. Yeah. And we'll go back here, and I think I can bring. So one thing I will say, this looks good. I mean here, but you can also obviously see it on the monitor that it can be brought down some more. So we're gonna bring it down some more. I think that's good. For this clip, I did add the contrast. How I do contrast, which this one, a lot of these clips I kind of just took from one. A lot of these clips I took from one still to the other, so you'll see me make adjustments to kind of fix it. But usually how I do contrast is I'll use the offset and the gain. We'll just refresh that. Boom. So first we can bring the gain down some, not too much. I think that's good right there. And then same with the offset, just a little bit. You don't have to do too much, but I think that's pretty good right there. You see, it has nice grain. Everything looks really nice. I do like the way that this looks. Sometimes it is a little too much. I think the grain is, I think use it sparingly because sometimes it can be a little too much. When I first started getting into color grading, I really wanted to have this film look. I was always using grain, and I'm kind of bored of it now. I'm not gonna lie, but I think some clips in certain situations still really does call for it. But this one, I'm going to actually let me adjust the highlights. It looks her skin looks a little off. I may have taken it a little too far. There you go. That's better. Uh, well, so this year my plan is I'm going to be buying a set of cinema lenses finally. Um, I want to kind of shift from using photo lenses during my videography and shift to mainly only using cinema lenses. Cinema lenses, there's not people may argue that there's not any difference, but honestly, there's a difference to me. With cinema lenses, some of them just come with you get character with them, and that character is something I think really can really set a videographer apart from a cinematographer. Maybe a shallow thought, but that's on me honestly. And that's not the only thing. Obviously, it's going to be the person behind the camera operating the camera as well. But I think using some great glass definitely helps give you a nice look. So if you want to find a look, finding some glass that fits what you're looking for is going to help you achieve that look. So that's the plan for this year. And then we can just play this clip all the way through so you can kind of see. Also, that was shot on the 7 Artisan Cinema lens. So that one is a very budget-friendly lens. I don't have it anymore, but I did love that lens a lot. I do recommend it. It was a really nice lens. It had very nice character. Um, the flare whenever I was shooting towards the sun was amazing. Like I have no regrets about that lens at all. All right, then we're going to the next clip. Next clip is just another clip from the same day. So camera settings are basically going to be the same. Go straight into Dehancer. FX6 is already there. And then, like I said, from there, we're going to saturation, exposure, bring that highlights down some. I think I brought the overall exposure down, added contrast to the image. And then for skin tone, so I didn't need to adjust any skin tone so far. This is pretty close to what her skin tone actually is in real life. One way to check for skin tone, you go here, spectroscope, and then you can go ahead and tap on the setting icon, which is these 3 lines, and then show skin tone indicator. Then show skin tone indicator, and then I'm gonna show you where your skin tone should be. Like I said, you can also stress your eyes as well. That's a good way to double check, but also stress your eyes. I will show you. Dehancer has not Dehancer, but DaVinci actually has a new tool where you can make adjusting skin tones super easy. If you tap on, so create a node for the skin tones, tap on color splice, and then right here it says skin. So sometimes you can just kind of with with the hue slider, you just kind of bring it down some. Bring it down so you guys can see. Again, this one looks really nice. I do like it with the grain on it already. It has a very nice look. Same thing, just a shot with the 7 Artisan 35mm. I was actually out testing the 7 Artisan cinema lenses, and so I found one clip, color graded it. Took me maybe 10 to 15 minutes to find a look that I liked, and then I just applied it to each and every clip and made those micro adjustments to the different clips, different lighting scenarios, things of that nature. So, I mean, you honestly, you can't go wrong with the answer. It makes things super easy. I personally don't really have too many complaints about it. I think it just makes color grading very easy whenever I'm being lazy. Um, even if you're not being lazy, because even I've seen some people, I've seen professional colorists use Dehancer, and what you can get out of this thing, it's again, it's insane. And then final clip, I shot this a long time ago. Also shot on the Sony A7S3. This was just with the 24-70. We'll go ahead and do Dehancer. We'll do our saturation, exposure, contrast, and then I didn't do anything for white balance. The white balance is there if you need it. And then skin tones, brought her, she was a little too on the orange side. I just brought it down just a little bit because she was a little tan. So this is about accurate of what her skin was looking like. For this one as well, I'm going to go ahead and, so this is what it looks like without any grain or anything like that. And then I'll show you what it looks like with. So at the film grain, like I said, I like to keep that 35. I don't think you really need anything more. And then as you see with the halation, it kind of, it usually highlights the edges, and it'll add like a little red tint to the image. This one you don't really see much, but if I did the rim gen, then you'll see it go all around her. So you take the mask off, and you'll see that halation, which I actually do like that on this one here. And then we can add some bloom just to bloom it up a little bit. And I think I do like the way that the film is looking on here. And we'll play it. And this is me. I had just got the A7S3, so I was kind of just testing out the camera. And this is a good friend of mine. She always helps me out whenever I want to do tests. So I appreciate you for being my guinea pig. But yeah, and I mean, like I said, I just wanted to kind of do my little review here. By no means, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, again, by no means am I saying my way is the right way. There's many ways to do it. I just do what I think works for me, and to get the image that I like to get, the look that I am going for, the look that I'm going for. This is my workflow. You can literally use whatever workflow works best for you. But yeah, this is Dehancer. Again, I don't really have too many complaints about it. But yeah, this is Dehancer. Again, I don't really have too many complaints about it. I really enjoy it. I like it. I used to use it a lot when I didn't know anything about color grading. I used to use it a lot when I really didn't know how to color grade. This is my cheat code. I use it here and there now, mainly when I'm being lazy. I did kind of learn a little bit more about color grading. I'm still not a pro, and I do want to dive deeper into color grading and learn more, but I don't use it as much as I used to. But it still gets used pretty frequently because I have projects that have quick turnaround times. Dehancer is my savior. So I'll go ahead and put my discount code in. Again, it's going to be Rate Films. That's 10% off whichever tier you want to do. They have a 3-month, a 6-month, a year, and then a lifetime. Again, I honestly feel like it's a perfect plugin for everybody, but definitely a great plugin for beginners who maybe you don't even care about color grading, but you still know that you have to color grade and you want to make sure that your image looks nice. Dehancer is definitely a plugin that I recommend 100%. But that's all I have today. Again, if you stuck through the whole video, thank you for watching. Go ahead and, you know what they say, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and also just let me know what more you guys would like to see. But yeah, thanks.